It's great to have back with us the Tourism Minister for South Australia, Zoe Beddison. How are you today?
Oh, great day today. I'm on my third day in the peninsula, starting the day at Marion Bay, heading off to Innes National Park shortly.
Oh, fantastic. Getting to see plenty of the Yorke Peninsula. I know you're excited after you've been there for Community Cabinet this week and got plenty of data about Yorke Peninsula, but it's been a pretty good period across regional South Australia for tourism.
Oh, look, it certainly is. We've seen some excellent results, particularly in relation to regional accommodation. We just got some results for December, and it was 62% average occupancy rate, so 125,000 room nights for regional South Australia in December, which is just an incredible record.
Now, I understand those figures, aren't they better than what we had before the pandemic in some cases?
They certainly are. What we've seen is not just South Australians enjoying their own backyard, but the movement of interstate tourists here, particularly from Victoria and New South Wales, really coming over to South Australia, spending time here and loving the region.
And that's great news, specifically on the Yorke Peninsula. What have you been able to announce or pick up about what's happening for them locally?
Yeah, so look, they've had an incredible time over COVID. So year on year, we saw a 33% increase in visitor expenditure. So it was $319 million for the year, September 21 to September 22. Exceptional. They had even surpassed what was aimed for 2025 targets. And what we've seen is people feeling it's a great coastal playground, coming here, enjoying the experiences. Going forward, we've had some roundtables, talking to operators here. Probably the next opportunity is developing more products and experiences here. So while accommodation also could have some more diversity, it's actually having bookable product that is needed in the next stages.
Now, I've got a recollection last time we talked, the government was talking about these nature-based tourism experiences. You're heading down to the Innes National Park at the foot of the peninsula, for instance. Is this part of what you're looking at, is where these opportunities might be developing in regional South Australia?
Well, certainly they are about increasing experiences in national parks or some accommodation adjoining national parks. And Neptune Surf School, actually, he received one of those Experience Nature Tourism grants, one of the 18 groups to receive them. But that's going to roll out every single year. It's a $500,000 grant that runs out every year for the next few years. So we want people to look at those unique opportunities. Sometimes it's about adding appropriate vehicle, or it's about marketing what they've got. It's also, there's capacity for some training. And it's probably one of the issues that came up in my round tables. So I held tourism round tables at Wallaroo, Barley Stacks Winery and Yorktown yesterday as well, is getting that skills and experience and building capacity here as well.
Now, I just want to touch base with you too about in the River Murray communities. There'd been a consistent message from local MPs. They wanted people to come up and see and experience the flooding event because it's an amazing natural event occurring in that landscape. But there was also a program from the state government to get people to book for post flooding to get up to the Riverland. What's the take up been on that?
Yeah, so look, we're obviously encouraging people to go up now to the Riverland, and they have been able to go up the whole time. So it is a unique time. I mean, for most of our time, Ricky, you and I have probably heard about the River Murray suffering from low levels of water. So this is unique in that period of time that it's now the flora and fauna that will come from it. But we have committed to a $4.1 million campaign to recover tourism in the river regions. So that will be involving a campaign and 3 rounds of tourism vouchers. I'm doing some final workshops with SATC down in the river regions next week to talk to operators exactly how these vouchers will work and how they're going to package up their offering as well. So what we really want to do is, given that the river regions have a very peaky, very much like the Yorke Peninsula, a very peaky tourism season, very much based around summer. That's when they make most of their money to take them through the rest of the year. We'd like to keep that consistency up in autumn, winter and spring, encouraging South Australians to visit the river regions, and the voucher program will be a key focus of that.
Now, domestic tourism's been huge. Australians, as you say, Victorians, New South Wales, others coming to our state to enjoy it. But how are we travelling as they emerge from the pandemic when it comes to international visitors to South Australia?
Yeah, look, that is a little bit slow, but it's coming back. I just had someone who runs SA Eco Tours yesterday, Mick, say to me, they're back. The international tourists are back, and he was really enjoying having people back here who go on his trips, which are about 3 days long. It is, I think, year on year about a third of what we had for international tourists previously, and every month we see that increase coming back and back. So last time I looked, we've got 7 international airlines flying to and from Adelaide. We are about 88% of those seats that we had prior to COVID, but the prices are quite high still. So, when people come to Australia, particularly from the US and Europe, they need a little bit of time. So booking off that time is a bit of an investment. But the pipeline going forward is quite positive, building each and every month. And probably at the end of 2024, we're expecting to be back to that level that we were pre-COVID for international.
And regional South Australia often features prominently in tourism marketing campaigns. Is there something underway or planned for our international visitors or particular markets we're targeting to bring them back to South Australia?
Yeah, we have an always-on plan with it. So for those who want a little more, has been running in market, and we specifically target the New Zealand market because we've got these direct flights, and that's been quite a strong program. But we are about to go and do some trade shows in the US and then a little later into the UK and Europe, and they're 2 key markets for us. Obviously, the China market was quite a rich vein for us previously, but China has shut borders up until recently, so that's really restricted. So we expect that will come back as well. But we'll really be going out to that US and European market. We've subsidised our operators to go to these trade shows as well, to really put our best foot forward. What we have to offer here is what international tourists want. They want to feel that wellness tourism. They want to feel nature. They want to go to the national parks. And we know that they're very, very reachable here in South Australia. So they might start a night or 2 in the city, but then they can easily get out to our region.
Yeah, I dare say they'd like to enjoy some South Australian wines as well. Minister, just before we go, how is the labour force travelling within the tourism industry? Are you hearing from operators it's hard to get staff?
Yeah, look, this is one of a challenge, and it's not just a challenge for our state or our nation. We're hearing it in other countries as well. Obviously, one of the key things, there's 2 things about it. There's about migration and having people here, backpacker market, for example, who often will play many of those roles. And I know Federal Labor is having focus on improving the efficiency of the visa system, because were a lot of people that exited the system, and therefore the processing of visas got more and more delayed. But the other thing is, just recently, yesterday we announced about regional housing for key workers. So having houses for workers to stay in those regional areas when rental is so tight has been challenging. The third thing is encouraging people to see this as a really great industry to be part of, tourism and hospitality. I tell a story that when I finished school, which was a few decades ago now, tourism was the hottest industry. And in fact, there was a waiting list at TAFE to do the diploma in tourism. We've got to look back at that time and say, what was it that was tourism attracting people into the industry? And we've got to encourage and sell our story. I mean, we've got quite a few head offices in the city, whether it be Journey Beyond, who does the GAN and the Overland, the G'day Group, who own more than 300 caravan properties. You've got Sea-Link. So you can actually have your whole career here, not just potentially in the international hotel market or being your own operator, but actually working for some of these major head offices in tourism. We've really got to encourage people into the industry.
Yeah, very good points, and we certainly do have a fantastic story to tell in South Australia. Zoe Bettison, the Tourism Minister, thanks so much for joining us today on Flow.
Thank you very much, Ricky. Great to talk tourism.